All right, thank you everyone. Thank you for being here today. So to start today, the United States Supreme Court is hearing arguments that come down to one simple question. Can states protect fairness and safety in girls' and women's sports? Or will courts block laws grounded in biological fact and common sense? Women's sports exists for a reason. For decades, women fought for equal opportunity and fair competition. Title IX opened the doors for millions of girls to compete, for them to earn scholarships, and for them to succeed. That progress should not be undone. Biological differences matter in athletics. Ignoring them does not create fairness. It tilts the field. It costs girls roster spots and scholarships, and it raises real safety concerns. When rules deny those differences, female athletes pay the price. That's why in Arizona lawmakers passed the Save Women's Sports Act. We acted to keep competition fair and to give schools clear rules that they can follow. When Attorney General Mays refused to defend the law, the legislature stepped in. Girls should not lose opportunities because courts choose ideology over reality. What we are seeing is not judicial restraint. It is courts rewriting laws and redefining words. Redefining words that Congress never changed. Title IX was meant to protect women and to protect girls, not to erase sex-based categories. States have always regulated athletics to preserve fairness. That authority should not disappear because the facts are uncomfortable. Girls deserve a level playing field. A level playing field where they can succeed, where they can have success that they've earned through effort and through their own talent. Arizona House Republicans will continue standing up for the fairness in women's sports. And with that, I'd like to I am pleased to introduce our House Majority Whip, Julie Willoughby. Madam Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for everyone for being here. For decades, women have fought tirelessly for equal rights and fair opportunities in athletics. Those hard-won gains should not be undone. Allowing biological males to compete in women's sports risks reversing the progress that we've made and that so many of us have hailed for years and decades. Title IX and places female athletics at a clear disadvantage if we go ahead and overturn that. When this happens, girls lose opportunities for sports and a trajectory that could change their entire life. If athletics was something that they started with as a young child and their expectation is to compete on equal playing ground, and then there's a disadvantage because of biological muscle mass and speed that we all know is something that happens regardless of hormone blocking medications that are provided, this still takes place. This can change somebody's trajectory of their life, their education, and their collegiate experiences, and even potentially opportunities into Olympic status. Title IX transformed opportunities for girls and women, opening doors to scholarships, and, leadership development, confidence, and lifelong skills. Protecting women's sports is not about exclusion. It's about preserving fairness, safety, and equal opportunity. Female athletes deserve clear rules and consistent standards that ensure fair competition. As the Supreme Court considers these arguments, the hope is for that there is a decision rooted in common sense and biological reality. Upholding women's sports honors the intent of Title IX and ensures that future generations of girls and women can compete, excel, and dream on even playing fields. And with that, I'm happy to introduce Chairwoman Selena Bliss.
Thank you, Selena. Thank you, Madam Whip. As you all know, we are here today to acknowledge the Supreme Court is hearing arguments on whether states may enact laws to protect girls' sports. For decades, women have fought for equal rights and fair opportunities, including having their own safe spaces in sports. These are safe and sacred spaces for females that allow us as women and girls to grow and develop into confident females, ready to thrive and contribute to society. I am here today because I cannot stand by idly while others attempt to displace females in women's sports. I stand here today for women's rights, and I ask others from both sides of the aisle to stand with me to protect girls and women across the country and in Arizona. What brings us here today is that in 2022, Arizona lawmakers passed Senate Bill 1165, the Save Women's Sports Act. This was to protect female athletes and keep competition fair for girls. When Attorney General Mays failed to defend that law, the legislature had no choice but to step in and act. Fast forward to today, as we are here watching the Supreme Court hear these arguments to protect female sports. My personal reason for being here today is that I share the lived experience of personally competing in female and co-ed sports during my K-12 education. Later, as an adult, I coached my daughter's middle school volleyball team, where I personally witnessed young girls build confidence and the determination to succeed. What I saw was girls deserve to compete on a level playing field where success is determined by effort and talent and not by a biological advantage. What we are seeing in this nation are female athletes paying the price when rules ignore biological differences. Girls lose roster spots, scholarships, and playing time. Not only that, schools are left liable for harm to their athletes. Female athletes are losing opportunities. We have over 300 incidences nationwide since 2020 that document girls being displaced by biological males, including Riley Gaines trying for the fifth She tied for fifth place at the 2022 NCAA championship, but was denied the trophy. As such, this session I am sponsoring House Concurrent Resolution HCR 2003, short title, Interscholastic Intramural Athletes, Biological Sex. This designates, and I want to emphasize, this designates, it does not divide sports. It designates sports into male, female, or co-educational. You know it as co-ed. This resolution gives schools and athletics associations that sponsor interscholastic or intramural sports to simply designate the sport as male, female, or co-ed. It also provides for private spaces such as toilets, changing rooms, and showers designated by biological sex. Arizona's behind. Some 27 other states have enacted gender-specific sports designations. Similar ballot measures are underway as we speak in Colorado, Maine, Washington, and Nevada. This is common sense legislation that in this political environment sadly must go to the ballot for the voters to decide. The voters will decide on the ballot this fall if they want to give schools and athletic associations the opportunity for transparency and to set all children up for success. With this resolution, everyone gets to participate fairly and safely. Everybody gets to play. This is common sense and simple. Female athletes of all ages deserve safe and fair competition. So in addition to waiting for the Supreme Court today to hear these arguments, I'm not standing idly by, but taking action, and I would appreciate everyone's support of HCR 2003. And now I'm going to pass it back to the Speaker, but keep in mind, he's the father of 2 daughters himself. So with that, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you. As you can see, there's unity behind this, and this is about protecting our girls and protecting women. So I do know that Whip Willoughby and Chairwoman Bliss are open to some questions. Do we have some questions?
The 2 students in the Arizona for Speaker Montenegro, what do you think their motivation is for wanting to play on the sports field?
I'm gonna let you answer that.
Yeah, the question is about the 2 students in the Tucson-area, correct? And that case was heard by Judge Jennifer Zips. She ruled to hold based on what the Supreme Court found today. There was an article this morning about those students, they called them Jane Does, and their opinion on competing in female sports as biological males at birth. I can't obviously answer for them, but their opinions were placed in that article.
Speaker Montenegro, you
Hold on a quick second. She's got a question.
Rep Bliss, about your HCR, you would have a male team, female team, and a co-ed team. Is anyone allowed to opt in to play on the co-ed team, or does it have to be a trans athlete?
That's correct, that this is a designation. It simply designates sports as male, female, or co-ed. It's that simple. It's not meant to discriminate or keep someone from playing. I think the beautiful thing of this is before puberty, commonly children do play co-ed. My daughter, grades K through third grade, played co-ed soccer, and it was a beautiful thing. But we did it by choice, and it was transparent, and it was safe. Parents that enroll their girls in sports that they are told is a female sport, to find out they're playing against biological males, that's not transparent, that's not safe, and that's not fair.
Speaker Montenegro, could you elaborate on your understanding of the two Arizona groups' performance in the 2 years they've been allowed to compete?
I can do that too.
Yeah, please, Chairwoman.
Speaker Montenegro, could you elaborate on your
Sorry then.
This will. Please go ahead and say something.
Yeah, I'm passionate about this, so that's why I want to step up and speak out. As far as their competition, again, it's in print, the facts are the facts, so I can't, again, speak for them, but the record is out there.
Do you think it's realistic for her parents described one of the girls as small for her age? Do you think it's realistic for that student to compete against men on the volleyball team, or boys on the volleyball team?
So it appears that we have gotten down into the weeds about size, height, weight, muscle mass. The fact is the fact. Girls, we need to protect girls' sports. Biological males should not be allowed to be on girls' sports unless it's a co-ed sport. Transparency, fairness, safety. Didn't mean to interrupt, but
No, thank you. I
get passionate.
appreciate that. Do we have any other questions on
Montenegro, with all due respect, your name is on the filing. Could you elaborate on your understanding of these two Arizona students?
As we've heard today, we're sticking to what the Supreme Court is doing today and the bill that the chairwoman has brought forward. Sir?
With the Supreme Court, Speaker Montenegro,
Yes.
you won't address that?
Sir, I'm going to go to him.
Mr. Speaker, can I ask you a different question since you're
Please.
well,
Oh, is it on this?
it's on a different subject. I can wait for the end.
Sure. I'd like to keep it to the press conference today. 1 second, and then I'll come back to you if there are any more. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the bill language specifically does indicates that there are to be established spaces for girls if the sport is to be offered. It's in the bill language. I have a copy here if you want to see specifically what it is.
Let's go to here first, and then. Yes, please.
Yeah, so because Judge Zips put this on hold, we decided as a state legislature to go ahead and codify this into law. This is about federalism and states' rights. If the feds are not going to decide what's best for females and female sports, Arizona is going to take it upon ourselves. Again, 22 states are ahead of us. If you look at what Nevada is currently doing, it's very similar to this. So we're behind the curve. Thank you.
Really quick.
State-specific data?
Well, I'll just say, look, we're going to stand up for the girls in this state. As a legislature, as a caucus, one is too many. Every girl, every woman deserves her rights to be protected, period. Okay. Look, what we are doing as a state is we're uniting, as a caucus, we're uniting, and we're saying we are going to stand up for women's rights. We're going to stand up for girls' rights in this space, especially when it comes to their safety, their own rights. They fought for this. All right, let's go. If there are no other questions on this, let's go.
There are. You just haven't answered them. Can you imagine a scenario in which a transgender athlete competes on a girls' team without issues of injury or dominance or hurt feelings among the
Sir, well, we're going to let.
happened in the last 2 years?
Yeah, well, what we're doing here, just to be clear, is we're going to stick to reason, we're going to stick to logic, and we're going to stick to the actual facts that science gives us. Okay, sir.
Speaker, thank you. Craig Harris with 12 News. This is a program very near your heart. The ESA program, very popular. 100,000 kids are in it. 12 News has done stories to show how it's helped autistic kids, how it's also helped homeschool kids. However, we've also found there's over $400 million that's unused, and there's thousands of cases where parents likely have used the program, buying jewelry, buying big screen TVs, buying even lingerie. Is there any room this session to find some changes to
Well, just as a brief note, like you're mentioning possibly, so you don't have those numbers either. And that's because what we see is every time something like that is flagged down, the system catches it, and they are not allowed to use those funds in that way. And so I think it's less than 1/10 that has even been noticed or seen. But there are guardrails there. What we're saying is we're going to continue to stand with parents. We're going to continue to stand with moms and dads because they know what's best for their kids. And there are guardrails there. I would venture to say also that they're better guardrails than there are for public education. The disclosures have to be made for ESAs that don't have to be made in public education as well. So let's be fair when we look at that as well.
Can I have one follow-up, sir? I'd like to challenge you on that in a very nice way. We found those records that do show there just over
Thousands?
thousands. I can give you the records just over a 6-month period. Thousands of cases where there were improper and likely illegal purchases. We're trying to get records for the last 3 years. The state won't give those to us. If we file a public records request with the school district, most of the time we can find out what their purchases are. So you are right, there is abuse in the district schools. However, isn't there any room to maybe make some changes on a program that's costing $1 billion a year so that the people who it's helping don't get hurt by maybe if another party takes control, they completely get rid of it? It would hurt people who really need it and really like it.
Yeah, look, we're going to be looking at everything. I told you that, but the reality is this: there are guardrails there, and the system is catching them. The reason you even saw or seeing what you're seeing is because the system's working. What opponents of ESAs want, what opponents of public or of parental choice want, is to prevent parents from being the ones that make these choices for their kids. And the reality is that by far, and for the most part, and in a vast way, in a tremendous way, parents are getting the opportunity to choose the best education for the kids, and we're going to stand behind parents. I want to thank you. If there are no more questions on today's subject, I want to thank you for today's time and coming out here. Thank you, guys.